Have you ever wondered what drives people to remain faithful, even in the face of adversity? Faithfulness is a term we often associate with loyalty, with standing by someone or something through thick and thin. But there's another layer to this concept that's equally important: motives. Motives are the driving force behind our actions, the reason why we do what we do. So when we talk about faithfulness, we're not just discussing loyalty, we're delving into the motives that inspire this loyalty. Understanding these motives is crucial because they reveal the purity of our faithfulness. Are we faithful out of obligation, fear, or genuine love and commitment? The answer can change the entire perspective of our faithfulness. It's fascinating to think about, isn't it? Let's explore this further with examples from a source that has inspired countless people: the Bible. Consider Abraham, a man who demonstrated faithfulness with the purest of motives. Abraham, a pivotal figure in biblical history, was a man of remarkable faith. His unwavering trust in God was not born out of fear, nor was it driven by selfish desires. Instead, it was rooted in a deep and profound love for God, a love that was willing to give up everything, even his own son. Abraham's faith was put to the ultimate test when God asked him to sacrifice his beloved son, Isaac. This was no ordinary request. It was a test of faith like no other. Yet Abraham did not waver. He did not question God's command or try to negotiate his way out of it. Instead, he prepared to do as he was told, demonstrating an unwavering faith that is rarely seen. Imagine the emotional turmoil Abraham must have felt, the love for his son Isaac battling with his love and faith in God. Yet in the end, his faith in God prevailed. He was willing to sacrifice his son, not out of fear, but out of love and trust in God. That is faithfulness with the purest of motives. But as we know, God stopped Abraham just as he was about to sacrifice Isaac. It was a test, and Abraham had passed. His faith was genuine, his motives pure. He wasn't seeking personal gain or trying to avoid punishment. His actions were driven by a pure love for God and a trust in his promises. Abraham's story is a testament to the power of faith. It shows us that faith isn't about doing what's easy or convenient. It's about trusting in God, even when his commands are difficult to understand. It's about loving God more than we love anything else, even our own children. It's about having the courage to follow God's commands, no matter the cost. Abraham's story is a powerful example of faithfulness driven by pure motives. But he's not the only one. Then there's Ruth, a woman whose loyalty and devotion are legendary. In the heart of the Old Testament, we meet Ruth, a Moabite woman who married into a Hebrew family. But tragedy struck when her husband, brother-in-law, and father-in-law all passed away, leaving Ruth and her mother-in-law Naomi alone in a foreign land. In this moment of despair, Naomi decided to return to her homeland, Bethlehem. She urged Ruth and her other daughter-in-law, Orpah, to return to their own families, to find new husbands and start fresh. Orpah took this advice, but Ruth chose to stay with Naomi. But why? Was it out of a sense of obligation? Or perhaps a desire for personal gain? No, Ruth's decision was driven by something far more profound. It was driven by love. Ruth told Naomi, "Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God." This wasn't a decision made lightly or out of convenience. Ruth chose a life of uncertainty, of potential hardship, and of faith. She chose to leave her own family, her own culture, and her own gods, to stay with Naomi out of pure, selfless love. And this love was not unnoticed. Ruth's devotion garnered the attention of Boaz, a relative of Naomi's deceased husband, who eventually married Ruth. And from their line came King David, and eventually Jesus Christ. But let's not lose sight of the essence of Ruth's story: her unwavering loyalty, her steadfast faithfulness, her pure and selfless love. It was not influenced by the promise of reward or the fear of punishment. It was a love that was willing to sacrifice, to endure, and to remain steadfast even in the face of uncertainty. Ruth's story demonstrates that faithfulness can be motivated by love and selflessness. But what does all this mean for us? These biblical examples aren't just stories, they're lessons in faithfulness and motives that we can apply in our own lives. The lives of Abraham and Ruth provide us with a blueprint for unwavering faith and pure intentions. Let's look at Abraham. He was asked to do something unthinkable, to sacrifice his own son. Despite the enormity of the task, he remained faithful. His faith wasn't driven by fear or obligation, but by a pure love for God. From this, we can learn the value of unyielding faith, even when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges. It challenges us to examine our own faith. Is it steadfast, even when our path is strewn with obstacles? Now consider Ruth. Her story is one of loyalty and devotion. She chose to stay with Naomi, her mother-in-law, even after her husband's death. Ruth's decision wasn't driven by obligation, but by a genuine love and concern for Naomi. It's a powerful example of faithfulness in relationships. It's a reminder to stay committed and loyal to the people in our lives, not out of duty, but out of genuine love and respect. These stories teach us that understanding our motives can significantly influence our faithfulness. It's not just about being faithful, but understanding why we are faithful. Are our actions driven by pure intentions, or are they driven by obligation, fear, or selfishness? Reflect on your motives. In your relationships, in your work, and in your faith, strive for faithfulness driven by pure intentions. Like Abraham, remain steadfast in faith even when faced with challenges. Like Ruth, exhibit loyalty and devotion in your relationships, driven by genuine love and respect. It's a journey, not a destination. It's about constant growth, learning, and striving to align our actions with our pure intentions. It's about being faithful, not just in what we do, but why and how we do it. Remember, faithfulness with pure motives is not just about doing the right thing, but doing it for the right reasons. That's a lesson we can all take to heart. We hope you found this exploration of faithfulness and motives enlightening. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share this video with others. Let's spread these lessons and bless others with food for wisdom today. Remember, the journey doesn't end here. Keep reflecting, keep growing, and keep striving to align your actions with your pure intentions. Thank you for watching. Stay faithful and keep exploring your motives. Until next time, continue to seek wisdom and live with purpose.